What's going on, everyone? Gilman with the Wellthy Stocks, back with our weekly Apple update video, ticker symbol AAPL, where we take a look at how this past week was for Apple stock, take a look at key levels of support and resistance coming up, as well as talk about some market conditions, some Apple specific news, and what that means for the stock moving forward. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Apple are. And I'd love to chat with you guys down there. So let me go ahead and hit record, and we'll get right into the video. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna take a look at the 5-day chart, and we'll talk about Apple's price movement for the week. And then we'll talk about the news, and then we'll talk about key levels of support and resistance after that. And then I wanna take a little bit of a look at the market as well. So as you guys could see here, Monday we saw a little bit of a pullback. We called that, if you watched the video last Sunday, call that pullback, right? We'd gone up for so long that a little bit of a pullback was necessary. It was coming, but we turned right back around on Tuesday, went from kind of the 130s to as high as mid 134s. And then Wednesday we saw a little bit of a pullback again after trying at the 135 level. Thursday was a little bit of a push up, again trying at the 135 level, and then Friday again we tried at the 135 and bounced off the 133.45. So we're currently at $134.16, which is in between our 133.40s and 135 level. So we are looking, all right. The past 2 weeks has been absolutely great for Apple, right? We caught that breakout and really pushed out, and it's up $10 in the past 2 weeks. So great price movement there for Apple. What do we have coming up? Well, we have two things coming up. First and foremost, we've got Apple Spring Loaded event coming up in 2 days, where we're expecting some products, so we'll take a look at that. And then we also have earnings coming up the week after. So it's going to be a pretty intense, or hopefully intense 2 weeks for Apple. So let's take a look here at what we've already talked about this a little bit, but I want to kind of recover it. So what are we expecting in the event in 2 days? We're gonna get probably a bigger, or not a bigger, a newer iPad Pro. So that's the first thing right off the bat, is we're gonna get an iPad Pro with a faster processor, 5G support, Thunderbolt port, and a mini LED display connection. So we're seeing, a lot of upgrades to the iPad Pro, which is something that they needed to upgrade for a little bit now, and 5G capabilities and newer processors. You guys remember we made a video a few days ago on the shortages that they're expecting on screens. So it's possible that they release it, but maybe not everyone that wants it can get their hands on it relatively soon. So that's the first thing. The other thing is AirTags. That's been kind of rumored back since 2019. Pretty much you guys have seen those kind of tile things, right? Little keychains that you could just attach onto or put in your wallet, your keys, your laptops, your car, to make, finding things a lot easier. So, hopefully don't lose your keys again, things like that. And then besides the iPad and the AirTags, which again is a rumor, we might be getting new AirPods, the AirPods 3. So they're going to be kind of the lower cost ones, the newer version of those, not the AirPod Pros. And then M1 powered Macs, we've gotten a couple, so maybe we get M1, which is Apple's own processor, incorporated into more MacBooks. So a lot of different things, a couple of them are, I think, going to happen, like the iPad. A couple of them are rumors, like the AirTags. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens at the event here in just 2 days. So now let's take a look at our daily chart, and we'll see what we see. So here what we have is a little bit of a bull flag pattern, the pennant that we talked about, and we got the breakout, right? We got the breakout, we caught that breakout. If you've been with me for a little bit now, you know exactly what we were looking at. And we've been pushing up, and we've actually been breaking through some of these levels that we had a lot of trouble breaking through before. And now we are pretty, quickly approaching kind of this point here before the fall, right? So let's take a look at what our future levels of support, future levels of resistance were, and then we will take a look at what that could mean for the stock moving forward. So on the upside, we got this 135 level. In the past 3 days, we've hit up against that. We've not been able to break above it. So that's kind of a crucial kind of first level to look at. And then we got the 136.05, and then after that, we got the 138.43. On the downside, we got the 133.45, 132.52, and then 131.79. Remember that the 8 EMA is also at 131.79, so that's absolutely great. Another thing I want to talk about with Apple stock, you guys, is the 8, 21, 34, 55, 89. We're stacked on the EMAs. Very, very bullish sign for stocks in the long term to be stacked in that manner. So that's great news. We're looking pretty good. And what I want to talk about now, we just talked about levels of support, levels of resistance. If you take a look here, you guys, we spent a lot of time kind of between the 135 and the 130 kind of mid sevens last time, consolidating on our way down. So maybe we spend kind of a similar amount of time as we're going up. Because if you take a look here, right, the first time we went up to 138, we pulled back, then we went up kind of briefly above that level, and then here we kind of spent a lot of time. So above 135, kind of in the 136s, 137s, is a little bit of kind of uncertainty on how it reacts. Maybe we see a little bit of a pullback like we've done the past 2 times. Maybe we spend a lot of time consolidating here before we push up again. Remember that we've pushed up a lot in the past 2 weeks. So a little bit of consolidation, a little bit of a break, a little bit of a pullback even is healthy for the stock. RSI is at 63, which is really, really close to overbought. The last time, we were at kind of 70, we pulled back, decently from the 145 to 130. So hopefully we don't see a violent pullback. I'm okay with normal pullbacks along the way. And I know one of you guys, or maybe one of you guys or some of you guys think that I'm too conservative of an investor, right? Paper hands is what someone called it. But I've always said that I'm holding my Apple shares. I've never once sold my Apple shares that I'm holding long term. I've done swings, obviously, because you want to buy and you want to sell and you want to put that money elsewhere. But my long-term Apple shares, I've owned for like 4 or 5 years now and only add to them, right? My job is to tell you both sides of the story. Long term, I think Apple goes up from here. Short term though, it could be lower than 134. That's kind of my point. You guys, I'm giving you all the information and then you do with it, it's your money, your decision at the end of the day. I'm holding onto my Apple shares as always, but I do like to kind of share both sides of the story. I think Apple's going to go up, but a lot of signs point towards, AEMA is at 131. So maybe we pull back to that. We haven't tested the 130 level, so we pull back to that. The RSI is at 63, which is really close to overbought, so maybe we pull back because of that. A lot of things are, not saying that we have to pull back, right? But if you take a look at S&P here, right, being at all-time highs and being pretty darn extended, again, at overbought levels, 74 RSI. You take a look at QQQs at overbought levels, right? RSI 67, so getting pretty close to that level, right? Although this candle here is relatively bullish because we, recovered along a lot during the day, kind of not in that case, but with the QQQs. So could we still keep going? Absolutely. But the S&P QQQs are at all-time highs. That's what sort of, makes me wonder if we see a little bit of a pullback, normal pullback. I'm not talking violent kind of crash. I'm talking normal pullback. And then we kind of go. Why do I tell you this? In case you were looking to take on new positions, just keep that in the back of your mind, right? We're at all-time highs. Is this the right time that you want to make a position? If you're dollar cost averaging in, go for it. But if you're buying a position now, like you're investing all your money right now, first of all, never do that. But, just keep that in mind. Keep in mind that, we are at all-time highs and we could see a little bit of a pullback. Regarding Apple though, getting back to this, I am a little uncertain on where we go from here, right? We got earnings coming up and we got the event coming up. We've ran a lot. So part of me is like, maybe we see another green day tomorrow, attempt that 135, depending on how it reacts there. Maybe we keep going, or maybe we already start pulling back, right? So it's a matter of, do we see a green day tomorrow and then sell the news, or do we start kind of pull back, consolidating, not doing a whole lot, and the stock is taking a breather. depending on how we do kind of the next 2 days or going into a spring-loaded event, will kind of give us an indication of how it does going into earnings next week, right? Because if we're running this week, we pull back next week. If we're pulling back this week, it gives us a little bit of a run room to go, a few days into earnings. Maybe we start to push up again. So those are kind of the things that I'm looking at. I am hoping for, a green day, couple days, week. While also understanding that, we're at all-time highs and some levels are kind of getting crazy to keep up. So we may see a little bit of a pullback. That's all I had for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to my channel, comment down below what your thoughts on Apple are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.